Welcome back to Inspiring Builds. I'm Dan, and today we're going to epoxy a garage floor. Well, not today exactly, as I completed this job in June of 2020. I wanted to wait 3 years to show you guys it's still holding up great. But follow along, I'm going to show you how to do yours the right way that will hold up long term. Pull your cars out of the garage and be prepared for them to sit for about a week. Clear out the garage and remove all the dust particles. A leaf blower makes it quick and easy. Remove any excess debris so the surface is smooth and even. Use a degreaser and wet the area first. Scrub the floor, hose it out, and use a squeegee. It was well worth investing in a better quality 24-inch floor squeegee. I let it dry overnight. Prep work is the most critical step. I can't stress it enough, as if you don't spend the time and work here, your epoxy job will not hold up long term. I prefer to shot blast the floor and use a shot blaster paired with a dust collector for maximum efficiency as shown. You can rent this equipment as I did for a couple of projects. Personally, I find this is the best option for prep work, easiest on your body, and looks great. You can also use a grinder and a Dymo blade, or use a Dymo brush hooking it up to a floor maintainer. Use a slow side-to-side motion to float the machine over the concrete and cover the entire floor until you have a white uniform look. This option can be rented at your local Home Depot for about $100, however, is much more labor intensive. I just recommend to use a vacuum hookup. One of my first epoxy jobs I was hired to do is shown here. I made the mistake of not having a vacuum hookup, and it generates a significant amount of dust. Lastly, you could use concrete etch, but this would be my absolute last choice. Fix all the cracks and divots with the epoxy patch. Mix at a 2-to-1 ratio with 2 parts B to 1 part A. Only mix enough for what you can apply in 20 to 30 minutes and allow 8 hours for cure time. Tape off the area extended beyond where the garage door comes down and perimeter edges. Prep is key, but the next most important is using 100% solid epoxy, not the cheap stuff from the big box store that is water-based if you want it to hold up long term. I purchased a master kit from Armor Epoxy that had everything included except a 9-inch roller frame and extension pole. You can choose your epoxy color. I went with gray that came with black, white, and light blue flakes. I purchased 2 kits for a 900 square foot garage. The cost came out to a little over $1,000 versus a $5,800 quote I received. You can purchase lower quality epoxy kits cheaper at a big box store, but those kits are much thinner and I see tire lift and pilling shortly after it being installed. I wanted to do it right and only once. The next step is applying the primer. The key is mixing up small batches. I had 2 awesome helpers cutting in while I worked one section at a time pouring out the primer and back rolling. The next day I mixed and applied a color epoxy, applying it by back rolling as well. Sort the flakes in buckets so if you have a garage with 8 sections, get 8 buckets for an even coverage throughout. Use this technique, tossing the flakes almost to the ceiling for an even coverage to obtain the best results and avoid flakes from clumping. I applied 1 bucket of flakes after back rolling the epoxy in that section. Lastly, apply a clear coat top coat and I mix it with grip additive as we have rough winters and I want to avoid the floor from being slippery. After almost 3 years, the floor still looks great. The only thing we changed was painting the poured concrete walls white to match. I waited 24 hours for foot traffic and 7 days before parking cars on it. I really appreciate you watching. If you like this video, I have another one queued up for you in the corner that you'd probably like as well. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified when I release new videos.